Hi, Jerry here from thefogwatch.com. Thanks very much for the comments on my previous packing video for packing for the Camino. And one of the main comments I got back was, yep, looks great, but let us know when you come back what worked and what didn't work and what will you take next time. So this is that video about what I'm going to take with me next time and what worked and what didn't work for the last one. So first thing is the pack itself. The Atmos 50. A lot of people have said it's way too big, and it kind of is, but it is extremely comfortable. It gives me plenty of room to reach down the sides and so on. It actually worked really well. It's got a top compartment, a bottom compartment, and a very top one right on the flap. So I kept my medicines in the top one, clothing and stuff in the middle one, sleeping bag and things like that in the bottom one, and it worked really, really well. So I will be taking this backpack on my next Camino. It did rain a couple of times on the Camino, so I did use the medium size rain cover for the backpack. It was a bit awkward to get on, mainly because I had the thing overfilled to begin with, and really if I took what I'm going to take next time, this will fit just fine. So yes, I will be taking the rain cover with me next time. The boots. I used these Scarpa GTX Gore-Tex boots last time. They're now surprisingly worn because they've done the equivalent of about 2 Caminos, because I did a lot of training beforehand and then I walked the Camino. So these have done about 1600 kilometers. There's still plenty of tread left on them. I won't actually be taking these ones on my next one, simply because I think they really will wear out for the next one. So what am I taking next time? I'm taking a pair of Keens. I've got nothing against the Scarpas. The Scarpas work really well, but the Keens I found had a slightly wider toe cap, and that works, I think, a little bit better for me. The other thing I took with me was a pair of Merrell trail runners, and they worked fairly well, but they were quite heavy. So next time I'm just going to be taking a pair of Crocs for my evening wear and to give my feet a bit of a rest from the boots. So that's the footwear side of thing. Next thing is the poles. Yes, I will be taking poles with me next time. They do take at least the weight of the pack off your knees. Probably about 20% of your weight will be taken by the poles. It's kind of like walking on all fours. It gives you greater stability in unstable conditions, unstable terrain, and it also does reduce the fatigue and the load on your knees quite a lot. So I will be taking trekking poles again. In terms of clothing, it does get cold. We walked in the shoulder months of September through to November. I did take a fleecy with me last time. Fleecy is a very good idea. I will definitely be taking this again. This one here is a Kathmandu one. It has a little zip pocket on the side, which is about here, which is great for somebody like me that wears glasses on an occasional basis. I'll be taking 4 pairs of socks, so 2 liners and 2 trekking socks in the bag and 1 on my feet. So one of my rule basically is to try and go for at least a full day without doing a clothes wash, because sometimes A, your stuff doesn't dry, or B, there's just not the washing facilities available. I will be packing 1 pair, not 2, of light trekking pants. These are good, they dry quickly, they wash well, they wear well, they're comfortable in all weathers. A hat. I tend to get sunburnt quite badly, so a good neck cover is a good idea. A good hat, good lightweight hat, and that works for me. I will be packing 2 base layer tops, and that's it for my tops, plus the one that I wear. Otherwise, these keep the sun off me. They're quite cool to wear when it's warm, and they're warm to wear when it's cool. In wet weather, it did rain a couple of times. I'll be taking a lightweight Gore-Tex jacket with a hood, and that packs very neatly into the bag. So I will be taking that again. It worked really well. Keeps the wind off on windy mornings. It keeps the rain off. So it's really good that way. One thing I didn't take last time, and I felt that I should have, is a pair of gloves. These are cycling gloves, and these are just fairly cheapies. The one piece of skin that I had exposed and that got sunburnt was the backs of my hands, because of course you're hanging onto the poles and the sun's shining down, and sure enough, I got a huge tan line across the back of my hand. Well, these gloves here cover the back of the hand just nicely and still give me a nice grip. So these ones I'll be taking with me next time. I didn't have them with me last time. They're coming with me next time. 2 pairs of lightweight mesh undies, and I'll be wearing a pair on the go. Speaking of liners, here's a sleeping bag liner. This one's a silk one. It's quite light. It washes and dries quickly and can go inside the sleeping bag. This in itself is not actually a sleeping bag as such. It's called a padded sleeping bag liner, and it weighs about half a kilo, and it's super light, and I didn't need anything more than that even up at El Sobrero when it got quite cold. So I will definitely be taking that again. There are times when your knees hurt and you need to send your pack ahead, but it's a good idea to carry with you a little lightweight day pack so that you can pack a bit of food, take your water with you. A little lightweight pack and go day pack is quite a good idea. The next one was a fly net which goes over the hat. It looks like this when it's unpacked, and it's just a little lightweight mesh, a very fine mesh, and it's terrific for keeping the flies away. In terms of eating, I did take plastic knife, fork and spoon set last time. They're okay, but I've got to warn you that bocadillos have a very tough crust, and so a plastic knife can get a bit blunt. Other than that, they're a great idea. I won't be taking these ones next time. Why? Because I also have since bought lightweight aircraft aluminium style knife and spork. These are a Cedar Summit brand. They've got a little clippy thing that clips them together so you can clip them to your pack, so they're in easy reach. They are lighter than the plastic ones and they're a good deal stronger. Many times we set off in September and it was dark in the morning when we set off for about an hour or so before sunrise. So we took with us a couple of cheap little LED headlamps which sort of did the job, but really one of them stopped working part way and we tossed it out. We found very quickly that this did not put out enough light to properly see the yellow arrows, because the yellow arrows can be anywhere on poles or on walls or painted on the road, and you've really got to hunt around for them sometimes. So a good light is a very good thing to have. Get yourself a good light like this one, which is 200 lumens, and it is super bright. The other great thing this one has is got a red light as well, so that if you need to rummage around at night, you won't be losing your night vision. So I would definitely be taking a good light, and the other light can just go where it needs to go. Emergency safety blanket, it's light. One of the things I did take was a little Swiss Army knife type thing. This one does have a really useful feature, which is a corkscrew. In Australia, most of the wine bottles have screw caps. In Europe, they don't. They have corks in them. So a corkscrew will make you many friends on the Camino. Taking care of basic needs on the Camino. This remains an unused trowel, but it's nice to have to know that it's there if you need it, in order to be able to dispose of one's business in an appropriate fashion. This is quite handy because some places do want to charge you for toilet paper, literally by the sheet, and they're counting it out. It's handy just to carry a little bit with you. I probably won't carry a whole roll, maybe just a half a roll, and maybe wrapped around the trowel. And a little bag to put it in and to be able to dispose of one's business thoughtfully. For cold mornings, this is a beanie. This is actually a kind of double layer beanie. It comes from New Zealand. My daughter got this for me, which is fantastic. Incidentally, I don't have any affiliations with any of these products. These are just stuff that I've bought and I've used, and it's worked for me. A nice microfiber towel. A little laundry bag. Now, funnily enough, people use a lot of packing bags, pack and go things, and they're great, but they can be really, really expensive. These, you get a pack of 3 or 4 from IKEA, and they are literally about $3.99 for a pack of. They don't rustle, and they can hold your clothes. You can use them to keep your clothes together when you wash them. If you wash them with other people's clothes, it means you can keep your stuff separate from everybody else's. Some Vaseline, because chafing happens. It can be really handy to have something like that. I'm not a great one for taking pastes or liquids in my backpack, and similarly, if you are trying to cram all your stuff into a take-on bag, you are going to run into the pastes and liquids problem for aircraft. There's a company called Lush that makes a shampoo in like a bar of soap kind of form. That shampoo will also do, of course, body wash and clothes wash, and one of these lasted me for the entire Camino. I will definitely be taking this stuff again with me next time. Lush also makes a toothpaste. Doesn't look or sound like toothpaste, but this one is called Miles of Smiles. It's a nice peppermint type of thing, and these are like little tablets, and you just chew them up, and you just pop one in your mouth, crunch it up a couple of times. It mixes with your saliva, and you can then brush your teeth, and it works really, really well. It's lighter than a paste because you don't have the water that goes into making up a paste. And there's 100 of these in a tiny little bottle, and the bottle's plastic. The toothbrush itself, just a lightweight travel one with a little cover on the top so that, again, water doesn't go everywhere. I did overpack last time on the blister care. Now, that said, blisters are real, people do get them. But last time I carried a huge great thing like this, not realizing, of course, that there's a pharmacy in every town, and even in the small villages there's often a dispensing machine which has all the blister care stuff that you're going to need. So really, I would just pack enough to see you through for maybe a day or so. These little betadine cotton bud things, you just break an end. Betadine goes through to the cotton bud, and it's a very useful antiseptic. If you get any cuts or grazes, or if you have a blister and you want to clean it out and make sure it's sterile, then these things are the go without having to carry a really risky bottle that could stain everything if it comes loose in your bag. So those things are really good, and I highly recommend them. The sewing kit, again, not only for repairs but for blister care. You'll see YouTube videos all over the place about using that for that. One of the most useful small little things that I carried was about a dozen safety pins. These are the large size safety pins, and they are much better than clothes pegs. They're lighter, they're smaller, they're more compact, and your clothes won't blow away off the line. Sometimes in some areas it does get quite windy, or if you want to pin stuff to your pack to help them dry, then safety pins are definitely the way to go. Wet weather gear. I did carry a poncho with me last time, but frankly, I've got a Gore-Tex jacket, I've got a rain cover for the thing, and at the end of the day, I didn't really use this at all. So I probably won't be taking a poncho with me next time. Some people swear by them because they are quick and easy to get out, and they're quick and easy to throw over yourself and the backpack both together. So then, to each their own. Horses for courses. You might find that a good sized rain poncho is just what you need. In my case, I can probably do without it. The waterproof trousers, again, it didn't rain that much on the Camino, so maybe I was just very fortunate. In fact, people said it's most unseasonal. There's usually loads and loads of rain, and it's usually driving rain. Now, driving rain is something that is uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, if you're walking all day in driving rain, I doubt whether even these would actually do the job of keeping you entirely dry. So again, you can weigh it up as to whether you're going to take those or not, versus having quick dry pants, and you just get used to the fact that, okay, you're going to be wet. It's going to be an uncomfortable walk to the next place. So there's that. We did take a washing line with it's got little sucker things on the end. Now this assumes that you're going to have a nice tiled bathroom to string it up with. And frankly, it just really, at the end of the day, it wasn't practical. It was just something I don't need to carry. These little roll-up bags are very good. They're waterproof. You can put your tech stuff and your change of clothes in for when you go into the shower, and your stuff won't get wet. So these things are really good. They're also, I mean, they can be a handy shopping bag when you go to to a local supermercado to pick up your supplies for the next day. All of those sorts of things. They're just a terrific bag, really handy, and yes, I will be carrying a couple of those with me. I have here on the tech side, this is one of those kind of super plug adapter things. It has, you can slide out whichever country's plug system that you might need. So this will do, you can plug in an Australian, in fact you can plug any sort of plug into here, and you can plug this into just about any sort of outlet. Really handy, saved my bacon on many occasions, and they work in Spain. Okay, I will be taking my iPhone with a little charger cable, and I'll also be taking one of these things which is called an iDrive, which is a tiny little pill-sized thing which takes a micro SD card. This means I can store up to 64 gigabytes, and it means that videos that I make along the way with the phone, that I'll be able to store them on here rather than just clogging up the phone. So for the sake of value for weight, that's definitely coming with me. A hard copy notebook and a biro. There are plenty of times when you want to give somebody your email address, or just make a note of an alberga, or just make some notes along the way. So I highly recommend carrying a little notebook. Some people carry a journal of some kind. I found these things are great because they all fit in my pockets. Sometimes you don't want to be pulling out a 200 lumen headlight just to rummage in your bag. So I've got a little solar powered keyring light, 3 little LEDs on it, and it makes it very convenient to be able to reach in and see stuff. Also, a little Ziploc bag for your credential and your passport and any other important documents like that. Last time I took with me a pair of nail clippers. These are kind of industrial size nail clippers for my industrial size toenails, but they are handy for anything from cutting your nails, but also things like zip ties. If you've put that around your luggage for transit, then these are really handy for removing them. So there's that. You can take those or leave those as you see fit. I took with me also this microphone that I'm wearing. This microphone, I'll be taking some videos on the thing, so this is plugged straight into the iPhone, which I'm filming this on. So I'll be taking that also with me. As you'll remember from my last video, a lot of people, they just take their phone for taking photos, which is great. And if you can get the sort of photos you want, and if you're just after keepsake photos or web-based photos, your phone most of the time is going to be just fine. I like to take fairly decent photos for archival purposes, and also for other writings that I do, because I do keep this blog. So I will be taking my SLR camera with me again. I did take some comparison photos on the last Camino, where I took the same photo inside a dark church or inside a museum with both this camera and with the phone. And I did find that in low light, the noise level on the images was just very, very high. They were very grainy, whereas they were much less so, and the noise was much more easily compensated for when I took them with the decent sized camera. It is my Camino burden. This, with its charger and spare battery, weighs 1.5 kilograms, that's a big burden to carry if you're trying to carry it on your pack. Pair of earphones. Now, things that I took that I won't be taking next time. Here is an SD card reader, which would take the SD card from the camera so that I could put them into the phone or the iPad for processing. The thing is, as it turns out, of course, the camera has Wi-Fi, and it's perfectly capable of transmitting the images from the camera to either the phone or the iPad. So this is actually a redundant piece of kit, and I don't need it. I took a remote control for my camera, and honestly I didn't use it once, because I found very quickly that, okay, for the sake of the weight I can do without that, and I can just use the time delay on the camera, and it was perfectly fine. I did take this last time, which is a little device that I printed on a cheapy LD 3D printer, which takes the foot ends of the walking poles, 2 from me and 1 for my wife, to make a tripod. This thing weighs about 70 grams, which is lighter than any tripod you're ever gonna get. Just mount the camera on the top and instant tripod. You could make something like this out of wood if you wanted to, or just not bother. Or you can use one of those little gorilla pod things. Sometimes it can be handy to have a stable thing in which to take a long exposure photograph. I did take with me a My Passport wireless hard drive. This will take an SD card straight in the side. It will copy it straight onto the hard drive without a computer being needed to do the biz. It's great for normal sort of traveling, for things like city to city traveling, but honestly on the Camino, it's just weight. Okay, this weighs half a kilo in its own right, and the iPad, which has a great keyboard and was terrific for blogging and for keeping things up to date and for doing emails and that sort of thing. But frankly, for the sake of 6 weeks, I'm going to be just taking the iPhone, and this will be the weight of my camera that I can ditch for next time. A pair of sunglasses and the iPhone itself, and a water bottle. That's really about it. One other thing which I will be taking with me next time. Last time I took a little camera pouch which took this camera, and I had the pouch on the front strap of the backpack. The trouble is, every time I took the backpack off, there was a loud thunk, and the camera bag with the camera inside it fell to the floor off the strap. Early in the Camino, I did see a German guy walking, and he had this bum bag or fanny bag or whatever you want to call it, which is fantastic for a couple of reasons. It will take a camera and your credential and just about anything else that you need easy access to in the front part here. There are 2 pouches that will take a bottle. Okay, so I can take 2 bottles here. You don't have to reach behind into the backpack. You don't have to get somebody else to pull your water bottle out for you, because here it is. It's right in front of you. You don't even need to stop walking. So one of these is a really good investment, a good fanny pack. I recommend one with the water pouch in the side so that you can carry a bottle of water. And that, folks, is what I'm going to be taking with me. What does it all weigh? Including the camera, weighs about 7.5 kilos. So that keeps me within my 10% of my body weight, which is kind of what they recommend as being the outside maximum of what you need. That's including my Camino burden. Otherwise, it would be 6.5 kilos. In fact, it would be about 6 kilos without the camera. So if you want to go without a big camera and you just want to take a little point and shoot, go for it, and that'll work for you. So that's what I'll be taking next time. And I'm certainly looking forward to my next Camino, which is coming up probably just in a few months' time.